Hey now. We'd like to start this by sending you a Jeep wave, one of those Hayden smiles, and ask you for a squirt from your Dove jug. These are just a few things that we've come to now realize how much we need. It took us all being separated from you to grasp how big of a role you play in our daily lives. Your presence brings so much more to the field and locker room than just the X's and O's. The impact you've left on our program and all of us is something that will extend beyond Middlebury.
The next teams you encounter have no idea how lucky they are to have you around. We've all learned so much from you, and the legacy you've left for us will persist. You've set the bar incredibly high for what it means to be a Middlebury lacrosse player with your resilience, authenticity, and positivity. As we all know, coming in as a freshman, I was intimidated by most, if not all, of the team. I was essentially afraid to speak to older teammates and took a little while to get comfortable around them. Despite all of this, you were quickly a person I felt comfortable around. Your happy, bubbly, and friendly self made me feel at ease in every overwhelming situation. You were so easy to talk to and quickly became someone I knew I could rely on.
The same one for me. You were the first upperclassman that I felt relaxed around. I remember you coming to me early on and enthusiastically telling me how much you loved Lauren Lynch, rip, something so small and nonsensical, but being that Lauren and I went to high school together, this helped me relate to you and eventually led to riveting conversations that then blossomed into the great bond and connection we have today. For someone that was not born with a small talk gene like you, this went such a long way. I'm certain that I'm not alone when I say this because you made such an impact on so many people at Middlebury. It might be safe to say that more people know the name Hayden Garrett than Erin Nicholas. It's not, and if that's not an accomplishment, I don't know what is. It's those little lighthearted comments and out of your way conversations that go such a long way for so many of us.
There's really no better way to describe you than to say that you're just all around a genuine, down-to-earth, and real person. You're willing and able to open up to your teammates and share your true self with each of us. You're not afraid of being honest with yourself or others and help inspire us all to do the same. Such vulnerability and honesty is what helps to make this team such a special group. You build interpersonal, meaningful relationships with your friends and teammates and truly show us what it means to have a strong relationship with a foundation in trust. You set the example for what it means to be an accepting, open-hearted, and loving person, friend, and teammate.
The only time I can think of that you weren't honest and genuine is when I found out that your real name is Sarah after spending 2 years with you. What the heck, Hayden? Love the name Hayden, but would have loved to bond with you over sharing a name. But in all other cases, I guess you have a good track record. I found so many other things, other ways to connect with you and learn from you. One example being the way you've encountered adversity. In a time where we've all had to face the loss of our season, the first person I thought of was you. 2 times before all this, you were told your season was over. But 2 times before all of this, you also showed us how to get through this. All of the uncertainty and distress with grace and optimism. Now more than ever, your resilience has set an example that we can't ignore, and rather we depend on the leadership you exhibited through adversity. You showed us how to keep a smile on our face and keep pushing. If you ask me, that's the name of the game, and all I can say is wow and thank you.
When I think of you, I think back to seeing you in the training room this past fall. Every time I walked in, the first thing I would hear was, "Erin," and the first thing I would see is you standing there with a huge smile on your face. Your positive energy helped make the training room a place I looked forward to going to. You helped brighten my day with your cheerfulness, but also helped inspire me to stay positive and continue following my treatment protocols. Seeing you in there nearly every day constantly reminded me of your dedication to our team. You're someone who is willing to push yourself and put in the extra work, whether it be pre-practice wall ball or band work, so that you can be the best version of yourself for our team. When we hear the quote, "Life is all about adversity, but it's the way that you respond to the adversity that matters and shows what your true character is," the first person that comes to mind is you. You're someone who truly and fully embodies the idea of resilience. No matter what situations or challenges you're faced with, you find a way to accept the circumstances and respond to them in a way that will better both yourself and those around you. You've inspired us all with your ability to face adversity and use it as an opportunity to further push yourself and test your limits with your never give up attitude. One thing we admire about you that speaks volumes to the person you are is the way in which you are able to find joy in everything that life throws at you. For example, instead of making the training room a place you dreaded, you made it your happy place. I'm not sure if this was intentional or if you knew you were doing it, But this ability to turn such a potential negative stimulus into something you enjoyed is one that we all strive to possess. Through befriending anyone and everyone that stepped foot in the training room and building meaningful relationships with all the trainers, you found a way to facilitate a positive work environment for your continuous and difficult treatment process. Unsurprisingly, you somehow found a way to befriend nearly every single person that has stepped foot in the AC.
That being said, there are a couple distinguishing voices in the training room. Chris, Judd, and Hayden. You must have received an A in Small Talk 101 because it doesn't matter who walks into that training room, they are greeted immediately with your daily banter and smiles. You have an incredible gift where you can find a way to connect with people and relate to them on tremendous levels, making everyone in your path feel appreciated. When we think of you, we think of the lighthearted and positive presence you brought to our team, coupled with undeniably cliche expressions and comments, but all from a place of utter authenticity. Sometimes the Hayden expressions and jokes go over our heads, but they are the most genuine thing about you and something we all cherish. This contagious stream of unavoidable positivity and lighthearted humor makes such a subjective impact on our day-to-day. I can't remember a time when I've made eye contact with you and it didn't result in a smile. Every time you bopped into the training room, decked out in Lululemon, or even a dress, swim weather permitting, and tried to engage the whole room at once, that was incredible. Shout out to the Hayden howdy every day. At these times, it didn't matter what was going on in our daily lives, but I couldn't help but brush that aside and level with your vibe. You actually lightened the mood so much that you found a way to literally bring Christmas morning to us this year. We learned that Santa actually drives the Jeep, is from the South, and wears thermal Lululemon. One day in late February, we may or may not have heard, ho, 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 come into the locker room, and there walked in Hayden with a box so big it looked like all 3 Livesay children were inside. Unfortunately, it was just a discounted Lululemon order that you had diligently organized and bargained for us. Things as simple as keeping us warm with Lululemon practice gear represent how you've looked out for us in countless, yet unconventional ways that have made our lives easier and our days brighter.
Hayden, we want to thank you for always being there for us in every and any situation.
The shoulders we stand on are extra tall, and not because your roster profile starts with a 6 in the height category, but because you've made such a particularly phenomenal impact on our team and the legacy of Middlebury lacrosse.
Down to knowing to make a grilled cheese to pair with Ross's tomato soup, we will never forget your antics.
In all seriousness, we are so grateful for everything you've taught us and the memories we've shared together.
You are truly a one-of-a-kind person, and we can't wait to see all the amazing things you accomplish.
As they might say at Santander Bank,
hasta
luego.
luego. Oh, God.